Everybody, I'm Laine Liberti. I am your admin, your host for this community. And last week I posted a wonderful post where I asked our community, what is your expertise? What is your story? What can we share to help our community to learn, be inspired, and also expand their knowledge around world schooling. And I received an overwhelming response on this post. And this is Andrea. I'm super excited to talk to Andrea. The pre chat that we've done so far, we're really aligned in a lot of our personal philosophy. And we're going to talk to Andrea in hopes that you're going to be inspired through her story of self directed education, learning from the world, and facilitating and partnering with children. Child, you have one.
Child.
Yeah, child.
Mhm.
Awesome. And also, I know as a bonus for the world schooling community is that you are an RVer also, right? Yeah.
That's right. Yeah.
We've got a lot to talk about. So, if you're just tuning in now, please give us a hello in the comments. And also let us know if you have questions for Andrea. And if you're watching this in replay, please put hashtag replay into the comments. And also, if there's questions, either Andrea and I will go back in later and answer the questions for you. So, Andrea, welcome. Go ahead and give us an
Hi.
introduction to your story.
Hi, everyone. So I've been in the World Schooling group for a few years now. So what really got me into alternative education was really just a result of my own experience, not good experience with public education and also private education, but I'll talk a little bit more about that. So that, when I was pregnant, it really got me searching for, okay, how can I parent in a way that my child feels loved and worthy and with unconditional love, so she doesn't grow up with the self-esteem issues that I struggled with for so long. Luckily I found the Sudbury School. I found unschooling and self-directed education. And so that just kind of led me on my way. So fast forward, geez, that was 10 years ago. When I was pregnant, I started to do a lot of research, and now we are full-time RVing in our chateau behind me. It's me and my 9-year-old and our cat. He may or may not make an appearance for this conversation. Um, yeah, so we're in the US. I'm based in the US. We have traveled abroad, but we are RVing in the US right now. I am in northern Massachusetts, New Hampshire area. And we only really book like a couple weeks, a month ahead. So we're still kind of question mark with where we'll be going.
I love that. And power to single moms who are like word schooling. I love that. I love that so much. So
Yeah.
awesome. What I found really intriguing about your story so far is that intuitively you knew that there was so much more to education than just the academics. You said that you wanted your daughter to be raised with not having self esteem issues. And a lot of times, parents, especially single parents, are really, concerned with the academics and doing the right thing. Because I know I was. And we overlook what we call those soft skills. How is it that you tapped into this being such an important part of the education that you wanted your daughter to receive?
That's such a great question. So I'm going to actually go back a little further. And I think it just because it'll make sense for kind of like my whole hero's journey. And yeah, so I think it'll just make sense if I kind of start from there. So I think I was born what some people would call like an indigo or like an old soul, very spiritual, very connected, very sensitive. And I came into parents they were passionate parents, and they were passionate about raising children that could survive in a cold, hard awful world, right? So their strategies was really like tough love, authoritative, that they needed to break my will and my siblings as well. Just that philosophy that children need to learn to be controlled, or else they will not survive, right? They won't be good kids. They'll just go to jail or whatever happens to bad kids. So it conflicted. So I was like conflicted from what I knew just intuitively and internally, even as a child, being raised Catholic, and I just knew that everyone's spirit was eternal. So when they started to tell me that, like, if you do bad, you're going to burn in hell and original sin, I didn't comprehend all of that kind of negative program, I guess you could call it. It didn't make sense to me. And I kind of got by, but then I started having a lot of emotional and mental problems. So from like age 10 to 16, I was not well. Perhaps I was getting by. You may not have known it if you were to meet me, but I was in and out of the doctors with insomnia, depression, mental illness. It didn't make, I just crashed basically. I just couldn't reconcile what felt true in my heart to the way I was being raised. That kind of peaked with a really intense hospital visit, near-death experience at 16. Luckily, it was traumatic. It was all, I think if it was now, there would have been more interventions and medications and things like that. But where it was in the 80s, it was swept under the rug. So I was not to talk about that I was experiencing mental illness as a child. And so I got through that experience, and I did feel that I wanted to live and that I did have purpose. And that actually, the near-death experience, the hospital stay, coming close to ending my life, I came out of there just feeling like, okay, this is actually good. I want to live. I can be free, and I've got the playbook now. Work hard, play hard, and that's what I did. I just went just right into that work hard, play hard mentality. I was only as good as my next grade, but now I just accepted it, that I would just struggle and do everything I could to get ahead. And that philosophy took me, almost 20 years, to a lot of corporate success, perhaps some relationship success, but because, as you know, I'm a single mom, but it only really got me through until, so I'm thinking like the hero's journey. So it got me through until the next kind of call to action, and what changed everything for me for a second time in my life, in my 30s. My dad got diagnosed with cancer out of the blue, terminal ill. 3 to 6 months, one day he was super healthy, getting ready to retire. He was going to travel the world, but in a day, from one day to the next, terminal kidney cancer. He never got to enjoy his retirement. And when he told us that he was terminally sick, that just rocked my world. That sent me again on another journey. But this time, the answer wasn't work hard, play hard. That was not the answer anymore. So I went through just, of course, soul searching. And that's when I started to actually do deep healing. I don't think I ever really healed much. Well, I healed enough the first time around, but this is when I kind of went through what a lot of parents have gone through. So my own healing journey, most of it was emotional and mental. I know that some people experience physical wellness journeys as well. That wasn't the way mine hit, which was okay. So just unraveling that hey, you know what? I was actually born worthy. And this constantly trying to achieve is just not, it wasn't the right path for me. And maybe I should stop here. So that led me, and it also allowed me time and space to explore my own spirituality, um, in terms of, well, what is this intuition that I've been feeling since I was a kid that I was taught to shut down, right? No, that doesn't matter. Your grades matter. Listening to us matter. That I couldn't trust myself, right? Kids can't be trusted was what I was, the philosophy I was raised with. The parents are hierarchy and the children are just need to listen. Um, yes.
Yeah, I mean, there's so much here to unpack and to unravel. And I think a lot of us that move into these world schooling opportunities, or at least addressing a different lifestyle other than the conventional, lifestyle that we've been raised to believe is the correct way of living, we are challenging those things because of some internal drive, right? There's some belief that maybe you're not from America, whoever's watching,
Right.
but there is something called the American dream, which really in many respects is a nightmare if you follow it, right? Because it's about what you're talking about. It's the work hard, play hard, get ahead, produce. And this is one of those kind of fallacies within our culture which breeds discontent, right? And maybe a lot of that is what you were feeling, especially being raised in an authoritarian paradigm. I too was raised in an authoritarian paradigm, and that realization that this was not resonant to me really led me down a path of self directed healing and all of that. And the other thing, which is so beautiful about your story, is by speaking about your mental health journey, you are demystifying the hush hushness of mental wellness, right? Because we think of our mental health journey is something as being super private and there's shame around it and we must not talk about that. And those of us that had to battle with previous traumas and things like that have discovered that the space out of the shadows and out of shame is bringing this journey into the light. So